Hello friends, hope all of you are doing well. In today's session, we are going to discuss a very important poem by William Blake, The Lamb, which is actually a part of British Poetry MEG 1 paper of the IGNOU MEG program. Okay, so this poem is also very important from examination perspective, considering the fact that a particular artistic question has been asked from this poem in the December term and examination, which was held in February 2021. All right, so without wasting any further time, let's get on with the video. So the major highlights of today's session will be, first of all, we'll be understanding and looking into the background and the backdrop of the poem The Lamb by William Blake. Then we are going to understand a little bit about the poet William Blake, because it's very important to understand a particular poet's career, his professional, his personal life, in order to understand what type of poems he was interested in writing. That helps us very much in scoring good marks in exams as well. Eventually, in the third part, we'll obviously discuss line by line and the entire poem. We'll break it down in very simple words, and eventually I'll also give you a critical analysis. And by the end of this video, we'll also discuss the question that came in the December term and examination, which was held in February 2021. The Lamb is a poem by William Blake, which was published in Songs of Innocence in 1789. So basically, Songs of Innocence is a collection of poems by William Blake. The Lamb is a counterpart poem of Blake's poem The Tiger in Songs of Experience. So in some particular video in the future, I'll definitely discuss about the tiger as well. But as for now, let's move on and see. Blake wrote Songs of Innocence as a contrary to Songs of Experience, a central tenet in his philosophy and a central theme in his work. Like many of his Blake's work, the poem is about Christianity. The lamb is a common metaphor for Jesus Christ, who is also called the Lamb of God in John 1:29. So guys, here we can directly from the beginning of the video, we can understand that here basically the poem is trying to refer God, Jesus Christ, with the name of his poem. Okay, the lamb basically is trying to connect Christianity with his poem. So his poems are very religious in nature. Most of his poems are very religious in nature. So William Blake was born on 28th of November 1757 and he died on 12th August 1827 at the age of 69. He was basically an English poet, painter and printmaker, largely unrecognized during his lifetime. Blake is now considered a seminal figure in the history of poetry and visual arts of the Romantic Age. So guys, I'm keeping the discussion about the poet very minimal in this video. I would obviously recommend you guys to go ahead and obviously explore more about William Blake, because there is so much to know about him. But since the focus of the entire session is on the poem, I'll just keep things short about the poet here. And here basically we came to know that he was a English poet, painter and printmaker in his lifetime, and he was also very much unrecognized during his lifetime. Okay, so that's a very big, that's a shame actually. And eventually he got the recognition after his death, of course. So again, as a small recommendation for those who are curious about the poet, you can go ahead and know a little bit more about him. And if you want to know more about him from my side, then you can obviously comment in the comment section. I can definitely come up with a different video about William Blake. So the poem The Lamb by William Blake is a poem of 20 lines. The Lamb has two stanzas, each containing 5 rhymed couplets. Repetition in the first and the last couplet of each stanza makes these lines into a refrain and helps to give the poem its song-like quality. So the poem starts with the lines, Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Gave thee life and bid thee feed. So the first 3 lines here, what the speaker is trying to do, let's see. The speaker directly addresses a lamb, asking if it knows who created it, who gave it life and invited it to eat. Alright, so let's move on. By the stream and over the mead. Alright, so what it means here, let's see. So here the lamb is then described in its natural environment, frolicking beside streams and running through fields. Coming back to the poem, gave thee clothing of delight, softest clothing, woolly, bright. So obviously with these two lines we can figure out what the speaker is trying to convey here. Whenever we see a lamb, a very humble and soft creature, and basically a white creature because of its woolly, woolly design it has. So whoever made the lamb also gave its coat, which is made out of soft white wool. Alright, so moving on to the poem, gave thee such a tender voice, making all the vales rejoice. Now here we see that a lamb's gentle noises, according to the speaker, make the surrounding valley happy, because we know that the lamb is such a gentle creature. Alright, it's a very peaceful and gentle and humble creature. So little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Again the lines are repeated, as you can see. The first two lines are again repeated here. Little lamb. So here for the first two lines, again we know that what that speaker is trying to say here. The speaker then asks again who made the lamb. So the first two lines that were started, the poem was started with these two lines. Again after a couple of lines, those two lines are again repeated by the speaker. So the poem moves on by saying, little lamb I tell thee, little lamb I tell thee. So in the second stanza, the speaker excitedly offers to tell the lamb the answer. So here we can see the drastic change between the two stanzas. In the first stanza, the speaker is actually curious to know about the whereabouts of the lamb and how is such a gentle and humble creature could come into existence. And in the second stanza, he is ready with his answers. Fine. So he is called by thy name. We can see that as the poem moves forward. He is called by thy name, for he calls himself a lamb. The Creator has the same name as the lamb, and indeed calls himself lamb. So here we can understand, as I've said in the beginning of the poem, that by lamb it's actually a metaphor for Jesus Christ. All right, so lamb of God, we know that in Christianity whenever we say lamb of God, it means Jesus Christ. He is meek and he is mild. He became a little child. The Creator is gentle and kind, and he was once a small child. So clearly guys, obviously you have to understand that here the reference is clearly to Jesus Christ. Obviously we'll discuss it in the critical appreciation or in the critical analysis. I a child and thou a lamb, we are called by his name. The speaker too is a child, and both the speaker and the lamb share the name of their creator. So here the speaker is trying to refer himself as a child. All right, and the reference to the lamb which is being done in this poem repeatedly is also to Jesus Christ. Okay, so in the final lines again we see, little lamb God bless thee, little lamb God bless thee. So the final lines, the speaker then asks God twice to bless the lamb. So if we have to summarize this 20 lines of poem by William Blake, The Lamb, basically it's a poem by the English visionary William Blake, published in his 1789 collection Songs of Innocence. The poem sees in the figure of the lamb an expression of God's will and the beauty of God's creation. The poem is told from the perspective of a child, as I've told you in the while explaining the poem itself, because here the speaker is trying to refer that the first person, or the person who is referring, the person who is the speaker, is again a child here who shows an intuitive understanding of the nature of joy and indeed the joy of nature. In the lamb there is a little of the suspicion of urban environments found elsewhere in Blake's poetry. The lamb then is a kind of hymn to God. Again we know that hymn is a song. All right, it's basically a song sung in the praise of God, praising God's creation, while also implying that humankind has lost the ability to appreciate it fully. So coming to the critical analysis of the poem The Lamb by William Blake, here we can mention few things, like the poem introduces its main theme right at the start. From the first line onward, the poem focuses on the nature of creation, and indeed the creation of nature. The first three lines and the rest of the stanza set up a question that the second stanza will answer. While the poem specifically discusses the lamb is also a kind of representative of the entirety of God's creation. There is also a kind of personification at play here. The speaker addresses the lamb as if it might understand the question and even offer a response. However, it's more nuanced than pretending that lambs can speak, because the lamb is an expression of God, as outlined in the second stanza, and his creation. The lamb's mere existence is already a part of the conversation. That is, the lamb can provide an answer without being able to speak, and the implied personification underscores this point. Coming to the last section of today's session, we are going to discuss about the question that came in RTC in the December term and examination that was held in February 2021. So we can actually understand by this that how important this poem is of William Blake. So the RTC question that came from this poem were the first four lines: Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Gave thee life and bid thee feed by the stream and over the mead. So guys, again, I want to put forward this argument that whenever RTC questions are asked, you have to divide the answer into three parts. The first part will obviously be the reference. In reference, you are going to write that this following lines has been taken from the poem The Lamb, which was included in a particular section, a particular collection of poems, Songs of Innocence by William Blake. And then in the context, you're going to write that in what context the speaker is trying to put forward these statements, as you can see in the video. And in the comment section, the most vital part, which is going to get you a lot of marks, is the comment section, because you have to ensure that if the question counts for 10 to 15 marks, then at least you have to write 250 to 300 words in the comment section. In the comment section, I've already discussed actually what is the meaning of the lines here. So basically the meaning of the lines here is that the speaker directly addresses a lamb, asking if it knows who created it, who gave it life and invited it to eat. The lamb is then described in its natural environment, frolicking beside streams and running through fields. Okay, so you might ask me that how, sir, that we can like elaborate these four lines into like around 200 or 250 or 300 words. So the answer is quite simple. You have to actually put a lot of inputs in this RTC question. Like you can relate this thing with a little bit of critical analysis, a little bit of input of what the speaker is trying to interpret here by extensive writing beyond the scope of the four lines. All right, so a couple of tips here, that obviously you can extend the concept, but yes, the primary focus should be on the four lines that are given in the RTC. So this is the video, guys. If you happen to like this video, then do share it with your friends and peers. And in case if you have any doubts regarding this poem, feel free to comment in the comment section. I'll definitely address in the next video. And obviously, if you have any other suggestions or any other doubts regarding any other piece of poetry or any drama or novel, feel free to comment. Till then, God bless you and thank you all.